Welcome to Make the Grade with the Success Doctor, Stephen Green, where you'll discover actionable strategies to help your student to reach their academic goals, to excel at standardized testing, and to plan for the college admissions process painlessly. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Green.
Hey everybody, Dr. Stephen Green, the Success Doctor. Got a lot of really good information for you today. Practical, useful stuff. The goal always of the Make the Grade podcast is to give students and parents action items that you can use right away, immediately, toot sweet, to help you to maximize your education. That's what we're going for here today. And as typically is the case, this episode is based on input from parents and others in the community. As you hopefully know by now, there is two online Make the Grade communities that are there to support families. And this is a question that comes up. And it's fairly basic, but that's okay. That's okay. The question is, what are the different ways when I do need help that we can get help? And how quickly can I do it? And what are all the possibilities? So I'm going to try to just detail them briefly, but the key always, no matter how you decide to get help, is to plan ahead. The hardest situations I encounter in the educational and the tutoring realm are last-minute emergency type things. Last night, 7:30 at night, get a text, my kid has a chem test tomorrow, can you help us? Never mind that I was completely scheduled out to 11 p.m. Even if I could have, it's tough to learn a half a chapter of a class in that kind of time frame. So I always preach being proactive rather than reactive, but I get it. I get it how it works, but still try to plan ahead. So let's look at options. Number one, the biggest split would be, do you want to do tutoring live? In other words, in an office, or in my office in this case, face-to-face, across the desk, around the table, working together, pencils out, calculators going, books open, Chromebooks open, tablets working, etc., etc. So I'm going to call that live tutoring, as opposed to online tutoring. Now, back in the old days, online tutoring was just okay. The platforms were kind of choppy. The internet connections were inconsistent. The technology really wasn't great, but it is now. It is easy and very, very accessible and essentially free, at least to the student for sure, to be able to connect with anyone for that matter, but specifically a tutor online. There's access to audio, video, shared documents, shared whiteboards, things like this. I would love to be able to give a demo of this. I can't do it in the podcast format, but I have done it in live sessions. There is stuff on my YouTube channel about this. But again, I'm always looking for feedback. So if you want to see a demo of a live online session, check out the social media or just connect with me directly. So either choice one, live tutoring in the office, online tutoring. Now here's the advantages and disadvantages as I see it of each. Live tutoring obviously is face-to-face. It's really just the most efficient way to help a student, and I think for a student to get help. There's no downtime. You know, if we're here, we're working. We are addressing issues. We're addressing concerns. We are moving forward with what needs to get done. Not that that doesn't happen online either. In fact, it does. And in fact, it does effectively. So the biggest difference is when I see, at least in my caseload, when I see a student in my office, it's for a 1 hour block, maybe a half hour, sometimes even longer. The advantage of online is I have people that will come on, log in, we'll answer one question, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 2 questions, and then they move on. So there is a convenience piece to the online work. There's maybe an efficiency piece, which leads to a cost effectiveness piece with the online work. So that's your choice. They both get scheduled the same way, at least with me. The other big thing, obviously, with online is there's no location restriction. I am lucky to be able to work with students in, at this point, 12 different states and 3 different countries on a regular basis, which is pretty cool just to be able to say that. A lot of different time zones. That's not always easy, but it is what it is, and it works. So I'll have a student typically send me a message. Hey, I need help with this problem, or I don't understand this, or can you look at this essay, or what have you. We'll do a quick jump online, 5-10 minutes. They've got the information they need, and everybody moves on with the successful result. So you've got one-on-one that way. The same exact thing can happen in a small group. I define a small group as 2, 3, or 4 people. I do not, at least in my practice, put people together. I wouldn't say, hey, I'm running a small group at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, who wants in, and have people that don't know each other. I tend to encourage people to bring their own little group. So I've had situations where a parent may connect with me and say, listen, my daughter has 2 friends. They want to do this together. They want to do SAT prep together. Or they want to learn science together, or they're working on a term paper they all need to do, and they want to do that together. And we'll put that together. Same thing can be done live, can be done online. Right now, I got a kind of a cool case where I'm working with 3 people that are doing a science fair project. And so we're connecting that way and consulting on it. The third piece would be a larger class, and I define a larger class if small groups 2 to 4, basically 5 and up. Same thing, can be done live, can be done online, works really well. I've done several online test prep classes for SATs and ACTs. Largest one was 22 people. And again, it's effective. In that case, the 22 people were all in 22 different places. Think about that. I have done them where people are in a classroom and it's projecting onto a screen, things like this. A couple other ways you can get help that maybe aren't quite as obvious. The online communities. There's the Make the Grade Maximum Education resource community, and there's the Make the Grade Maximum Education success community. They're both Facebook-based. If you want, I will put the information for these in the liner notes, the show notes. Anyway, you can go onto there, and if you're willing to present the information, just post questions up there, or you can message within those systems through Messenger or text or things like that. What I'm trying to do, and which is happening successfully, is to create a situation where people have multiple channels to get help when they need it. So always bear in mind, my goal is to give people the easiest way to take action to maximize their education. That is the ubiquitous theme of everything that goes on at Make the Grade. The last piece would be an asynchronous situation. Asynchronous is kind of a SAT word, I guess, not at the same time. So I'll have students who will just email me or text me a question, which I'm not going to be able to answer right then, partly maybe because I'm with students or in the middle of something else instructional, but maybe the next day or that night or overnight or something, I can address it. So that also, it's not quite as immediate, but it also works really well. Yesterday I had 4 people do that, and the simplest way to do that is they'll be working on a problem. One of them was a physics problem. They got as far as they could, which I always encourage people to do. I am not, to be clear, going to do somebody's homework for them. I'll help them, but I'm not going to do it for them. Anyway, they started on the physics problem, and they got as far as they were able, took a picture of it, texted it to me. I was able to give them some tips, say, try this, or you missed this here. In one case, they actually miscalculated a value. Same thing happened with a basic math question. It was box and whisker plots. Yeah, remember them? Getting the interquartile range. They had made a mistake in doing that. But the point was, it wasn't happening in real time, and that can actually work very well also. So let's sum up quickly. The goal is, how do you get help? Number 1, plan ahead. Be proactive when you can. You may not need to have a regular weekly tutoring session or whatever, but if you know you got something coming up, a test, a midterm, a final, a term paper, a project, plan ahead. This is all part of the Maximum Education time management ethos anyway, but I'm just going to reinforce it. There's live in the office. There is online facilities that work really, really well. You can do individually. You can do a group, 2 or 3 people, 4 people. If you have some like-minded cohorts, you want to put together a little consortium. And then finally, you've got a larger group and the online communities. So my hope is always that by having this information, I am helping the most people we can to maximize their educations, get better grades, increase their self-confidence, increase their self-esteem, and just be better at what they're doing. Appreciate everybody who has subscribed to the podcast, everybody who's shared the podcast. We're hitting some really good numbers, and it's not really about me. I think I'm just doing what I can do to provide information. It's about the community out there moving ahead. I would invite everyone, if you have feedback, please, SGREENE at makethegrade.net, MAKETHEGRADE.net. Go to the Facebook communities and participate. So that is what I have for today. Got some interesting things coming up. I've got 5 interviews over the next about 3 weeks. They're going to probably post in January, February timeframe. I think they're going to be really useful. There's some really interesting seasonal topics that are going to be coming up, and we'll go from there. So Dr. Stephen Green, the Success Doctor, wishing you a great day, a great week, a great month. Maximize your education, take action, make it happen. See you next time.
You've been listening to Make the Grade with the Success Doctor, Stephen Green. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe. For more resources and support, please visit makethegrade.net.